He said last month that he had voted Democrat in the past, but he will swap sides in the future. And of course, he's thrown his support behind one particular member of the GOP for the potential 2024, I should say, presidential bid. And yeah, I think it's Desantis. Yeah, so this according to Business Insider. Musk was asked early Wednesday morning on Twitter who he was leaning toward voting for as president, and he responded unequivocally, DeSantis. Musk asked that he supported the Democratic candidate, Andrew Yang, in the 2020 election, but believes DeSantis has a better chance of winning in the upcoming election. That's very interesting that he would go with DeSantis. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Was
I'm actually more interested in how much money and basically acclaim DeSantis has been able to get for himself in the past year or so. He's clearly been working towards a run at taking on Donald Trump for the Republican presidential nomination in 2024. And he's raised a lot of money. And I don't know that a lot of people realize that so much of the tech bros have left Silicon Valley, people like Elon Musk, to live in Miami, to live in South Florida. And so, DeSantis is turning that into basically a right-wing extremist petri dish, and those bros seem to feel at home. So it's like this Elon thing is more of a trend than anything of where the wind is blowing amongst the rich sort of libertarian tech bro type.
I completely appreciate that, Waz, especially because you're absolutely right. Tech, what I just did, I spoke at a conference at Stanford involving the tech community on Monday, and it was so interesting to know or to learn that 81% of executives in tech are white. And I think it was just in terms of employees, so not just executives, Black employees in tech, 8.65%. All across the board, no matter what level they're at. Like it's a white man's game generally. And so for him to align with DeSantis, who is pushing this white man's agenda, it does seem quite aligned, unfortunately. But we also know that Elon Musk likes to say a lot of controversial things, get a lot of attention, and then of course, maybe try to back out. We don't know. But one thing we definitely do know is that in that same thread there on Twitter, that Musk also revealed that he voted for a QAnon sympathizer. Yeah, check this out via Business Insider. In his tweets, Musk also said he voted for the Republican Mayra Flores in Tuesday's special election for Texas's 34th congressional district. Yeah, just in time for him to pull another potential QAnon supporter. This is absolutely wild as far as I'm concerned. And another Republican who has promoted QAnon is headed to Congress. That's right. Mayra Flores aligned herself with conspiracy theorists during her successful campaign to turn a historically Democratic Texas district red. This is really scary because we're getting people running for office and being in potential positions of power who aren't really aligned with just common sense, not even just morals, ethics, and what constituents want, but just people who are also, not necessarily in touch with reality, which honestly may be something that Musk can vibe with. What do you think, Was?
Yeah, I just generally think the uber rich of today, they just basically have no sense of, civic duty, civic engagement. They don't see this country as a community. They just think of this as their world is a world unto itself. And the people who will leave them alone the most and not engage them in any meaningful way, let alone challenge them, are the kinds of people that they want to see empowered. And so like the fact that this guy would, support somebody for public office to serve the people of their district or their constituents or what have you, that is a QAnon supporter, that jives with everything I think we know about this class or group of people. They're extremely self-interested and could give a damn about what happens to the rest of this country. And I think you see it in stuff like, let's go to Mars. Like these people aren't interested in what's happening here. They're not interested in this nation as a project or as a community. They're just basically self-absorbed quackos.
Yeah, definitely. That would very much seem to be the case. And it does seem that DeSantis is kind of aligned with that. He did have a response to Musk giving that initial early endorsement with that tasteless response that he offered here.
What I would say, I'm focused on 2022, but with Elon Musk, what I would say is, I welcome support from African Americans. What can I say?
Yeah, that's really cute. The fact is, we do know that Musk was born in South Africa, and the fact that he now lives and is registered to vote in Texas, the whole African American thing. But it's just like, give me a break. People aren't necessarily going to support Desantis because of how far right wing he goes, and also too, we saw him turn on Disney, and so even the establishment may not necessarily be down for that. But it is still scary, the thought that that man could potentially be in power. Any last words, Was?
Yeah, I think DeSantis has sort of treated Florida as a right-wing petri dish for the most extremist stuff possible. He's leaned into all of the, sort of anti-woke culture war stuff to great effect. It seems like it's garnered him an immense amount of support. And like I said at the top, a lot of fundraising, a lot of money is behind DeSantis. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how him and Trump sort of duke it out for this nomination in 2024, because he's got a decent amount of momentum behind him.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.